Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is your host, Chrisnatha, life coach, author, and speaker. And today, I am not back by myself. I have an incredible, amazing guest, and I am excited for you to meet her. Her name is Tavia MD, and I am super excited to have her. So, guys, welcome her. And I will start first. Welcome, Tavia. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. We're excited. We love having amazing guests, and you are the guest today. And so, everybody, I am sitting down with celebrity publicist Tavia MD. So let me go ahead and get that title all the way together. Okay, celebrity publicist. Okay, and we're going to ask her questions about that and what she does and who she serves. So we are excited. The first thing I want for you to tell us, Tavia, is who is Tavia? Who is Tavia?
Tavia is a God-fearing, praying woman who is a wife, a mother of two, great friend, great sister girl, Scorpios. What's up? Our season is coming up. Taurus season need to go away. And and just an all-around, hardworking person. That's who Tavia is.
Awesome. Well, you sound like a really dope person. That's amazing. That is amazing. And for everyone who's watching, who's tuning in, who may not know, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. And that is super important. And we know that it's so important that we continue to shed light and bring awareness to mental health. And Tavia, I know this is something that's very dear to your heart as well. And so we're happy that we're going to be highlighting some of that during today's talk. And I wanted to ask you, why do you feel mental health is so important in general? And then why do you feel it's so important to you?
I just believe that your mind is a very powerful thing. Your brain is a very, very powerful thing. And if you don't have that intact, it can cause ripples. And one thing that the pandemic did was expose a lot of our insecurities. It also, exposed us to loneliness, to, lack of human engagement and interaction in a personal level, because now this thing, the internet, the phone, the Zooms have become our new norm. So whereas, pre-COVID, we were trying to put our phones down and physically connect, this was the only way. And a lot of us didn't survive it. There's been a lot of high suicide. A lot of our strong friends are not really that strong behind closed doors. And I think that it's just very, very, very important to take care of yourself and your own mind and your own heart, rather than just be kind of like a sounding board for everyone else.
I love that. That's so important that you mentioned that because during the pandemic, we were stuck with ourselves. And, life as usual can make you not have to think about all of the things that you're dealing with, you're feeling, because you can cover it up with busy. And so when you are left with yourself, so many thoughts start to rise up, so many insecurities start to rise up, like you mentioned. I always like to say, and like you just mentioned too, we have to deal with our stuff. Not that it'll be perfect, but we have to confront it. We have to be aware. Why? Because wherever we run to, we're still stuck with us. Like we will show up, we'll be there, right? If no one else comes with us, we're coming. And so it's important to really start to unpack some of that stuff. So I'm so glad that you're highlighting some of the struggles some people have had during the pandemic. I think a lot of people struggled. Like you said, people didn't make it, but a lot of people struggled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with themselves and with the people that are in their lives. I know some people even being home, whether it's with the children all the time or a partner, that was also very, very tough. And I want to talk a little bit about self-love.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be a lost or a foreign concept to a lot of women. And if you could just help us get a little bit of understanding, what is self-love? What does that look like?
Well, let's start by saying self-love does not mean sex, because a lot of times when I hear women reference self-love, they think about pleasuring themselves. And self-love is 100% about standing in the mirror and being happy with the reflection that you get. Now, we all criticize ourselves. There's definitely like, when I'm taking a picture of someone, you guys take a picture of me on my good side. I'm like, girl, both sides is your good side. What are you talking about? Like, or, you'll get someone who will automatically just mentally and verbally diminish themselves. And I'll say, literally, I'll chime in and say, hey, don't talk about my friends that way. Because like, the way that you talk and you treat other people that care, that we're automatically taught to have for others, a lot of times we don't have that for ourselves. And it's important that you tell yourself, like I think about being Mary Jane and her having those Post-its around her mirror of saying how beautiful she was, or what her goals were, what her affirmation was. And I think we need to break the cycle of not taking care of ourselves first. It's not selfish, it's needed. If you don't take care of yourself, if you're not in a happy place, the energy and the aura you give off is always going to be bad, because of the fact that you're now just in survival mode and you're doing it because you have to do it, not because you want to do it. So we have to take time to love on ourselves, spend a day, play your favorite song, take that bath that you've been claiming that you're going to take, get your nails done, do something with your hair. Once a girl does her hair, she transforms into a superpower superwoman. Like once, hair done, ways everything did, that's when you feel fancy, you feel happy. And if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not, projecting, then you're not exhibiting self-love.
That's so good. I'm so glad that you mentioned that and you kind of clarify that for us. So many times society, family, friends, they will make you feel guilty or try to make you feel guilty for wanting to care for yourself, for wanting to love on yourself, for wanting to take time. I recall a time where I remember someone called me and said, "What are you doing?" And I replied that, "Oh, I just had a spa day. I feel amazing. I'm going to rest. I'm going to have some wine. I'm just going to enjoy myself." Right? We're in quarantine. I'm just going to enjoy myself. That was a little bit after quarantine. But the person replied like, "What are you tired from? What have you been doing?" And I was a bit offended. I felt like I just want to be good to me. What's wrong with being good to me, right?
Yeah.
And so people try to put that
being
guilt.
In this house.
Exactly.
Yeah,
people try to put some
being
guilt.
In this house. That's what I'm tired of.
And I think as women, it's okay to love on ourselves. We are expected to love and care for, to show up for everybody else, but we must also do that for ourselves.
I don't think it's all guilt. I think some of it is jealousy.
Wow.
Because she probably wasn't able to do what it is that you were doing. Sometimes a little hateration does creep in there, and she probably felt like, I wish I could have gone to the spa day. So it came out as, what was you tired about?
Right.
So, like,
sometimes, I didn't even
don't always
that.
say what they mean.
Some people,
not everybody says exactly what it is they mean. A little bit of child. If I heard, you was at the spa drinking wine, I'd be like, I need to get me a date. Some people think that way. Others is what you was doing.
Right. Absolutely true. So ladies, we want to normalize taking care of yourselves and just being good to yourself, carving out time for you. That is so important. So thank you for helping us with that, to start to look at self-love as something that we need to do and not always have to be the strong one, the one that shows up for everybody, but also showing up for ourselves. That's so awesome. I want to ask you about your manual.
Okay.
Now you have to tell us what the name is, because girl, I don't know, I'm a little nervous, but
yeah.
But tell us about your manual. What was the concept? How did you come up with the topic? And what can we expect?
So a quick manual to advise you your pH shit. I'll say that just to keep it, keep it a little PG. Was something that I've always wanted to write. I'm really busy, like I said, mother, wife, and sitting down to write is really therapeutic for me. And a lot of times, people are always asking about, my journey and my story to being, married, because relationships for some people bring about validity. And I don't agree with that. I was Tavia before I was Tavia and Herbie. And I definitely wanted to kind of sister girl the situation and describe like how I got from, being depressed, because there were times when I was depressed and moments where I was going through, you know what I'm saying, my hot girl summers and all of those things and all of those transitions of learning who I was before I got to, meeting the love of my life and, adding to my family by way of our son and getting to who I am now. But I do believe that none of that happens without first taking the time to learn yourself. Like a lot of times people will bring up the Sierra prayer and, things of that nature. And I always say, Sierra sat there and figured out what it is, one, that she liked. A lot of us don't even know what we like. They don't, when we ask for our mate, they're very general thoughts. I want a man who's tall. I want him to have a good job. I want him to, make love to me as often as I want. I want him not to cheat. That could be anybody.
Right.
That could be anybody. That doesn't mean that you're not finding love. What it means is that you haven't centered and found out what it is that you want. So then you can project those and manifest those wishes to who you encounter and who you meet. So that was really, really what the manual was about. Just my journey from being single, being depressed, being one of those women who had an imaginary time clock, and then learning to accept Tavia, love on Tavia, and then from that attracted, what is it that I really wanted from someone, finalizing what I wanted, and then meeting that person.
I love that. I love that so much. Thank you for sharing that. It's so important to not see singleness as a curse, but use that time as an opportunity. It's completely, absolutely normal to desire a relationship. There's nothing wrong with that. I think it gets dangerous when you start to feel, like you said, that validates you as a person, as a woman, and that you are not significant without it. And it's good to hear that you were doing your work. You were working on you, learning what you like, who you are, right? So that you could attract the very spouse that complements who you are, but not who you were pretending to be or who you were trying to show up as, but who you were on the inside. So I love that so much. I feel also that I hope all the ladies that are watching are listening, because first of all, it's okay to desire love. I think there's like a portion of society that makes you feel like you can't say you want to be married, right? Don't say you want to be married. It doesn't sound, you don't sound as strong, or it's okay. Do you don't need anyone, but it's really refreshing to hear it's okay. But that doesn't validate who you are. It's a addition, it's a compliment, but you have to know who you are and what you want. It's so interesting. If you ask us what we don't want or what we don't like, we can spit out a whole list. And then if you ask us what we do need or like or want, that might be challenging for us to mention. So thank you for sharing that as well. So we got to make sure that we're mindful of who we are, what we need, what's going to resemble our future, right? Not necessarily what we're used to.
And not only that, if you don't know it, that's okay. Figure it out, because you can't theoretically ask something of someone that you don't know.
Right.
How can I tell someone, no matter who it is, how can I tell my friend that I need her to check on me every day? And then when she starts doing it, I find it to be annoying. Like what this girl want again? Meanwhile, you didn't tell her you wanted her to check on you every day. Like, right. Or you say that you need somebody to, you need that hangout partner. Then you start going out and realize that you're tired. You don't want to do this every day. You just figure it out, and then readjust and reassess, and keep your eyes open.
I love that. I love that. So would you say that self-awareness is extremely important to pursue and to continue to unpack?
Self-awareness is important in every single aspect of your life. Self-awareness is even as important when it comes to your work. A lot of us do jobs just to make ends meet and not what we're really passionate about, because we're not aware about what we're passionate about. We're just going through and settling for whatever's paying the bills and then wondering why we're so miserable. So self-awareness, I think, is in every light, in every aspect, even, being, generational curse breakers with our children, with our mate, with our friends, you have to be self-aware first. You have to know what it is that you're doing. Sometimes, we point the finger so much we don't take into consideration, well, what are you doing? What is causing this reaction? It can't always be somebody else. And a lot of times people don't look at it like that. I actually tend to stay away from people who have problems with owning their stuff.
Mm-hmm. I love it. It says a lot. It definitely says a lot about someone. You have to own it, whatever that is. You definitely have to own it. I also want to ask you about your agency.
Okay.
I want to ask you about your agency. Tell us more about it. Who do you serve? What do you do? We know you're in public relations. For some of our viewers, they may not necessarily understand what that is. So if you can kind of help us understand what that is, what you do, and who you serve.
Well, public relations is a very behind the scenes job. I started it about 15 years ago. I was a promoter, in the city, in that limelight around celebrities consistently. And the opportunity to be a publicist honestly just stumbled upon my lap. I did some research and as to what that was, did some like real soul searching as if I wanted to do it. And actually, I would say freelancing it for free, just learning everything that I could possibly learn about it before stepping out on my end. And that business was called like Swag Soul LLC. I had started it in like 2012 officially, because, a lot of us, we do businesses, but we don't do it the right way. And when the pandemic hit, I started Tavia MD LLC, just because like I've noticed that I can't sit still. I got to dabble in a little bit of everything. And I wanted everything that I did to fall over under that umbrella. Currently, my agency has rep talents like Rennie Rucci, Light Skin Keisha, Sean Garrett, Highland Stark, Kissy Lee. I'm dabbling in film, currently putting together things with, under another agency, just because sometimes I do freelance. And working currently on Spiral, Chris Rock's new horror soft film that's coming out next week. Worked on, Time and American Skin and just other things, but under that agency, because I wanted to get my feet wet in that realm. I think sometimes we just sometimes hold on and say, hey, I got to do it on my own. I got to do everything. And you don't. So like I said, a lot of successes that I've had I love working with indie artists. And I like that because I like to be able to say, you know what? I took that artist from no one knowing to now they're the hottest thing and they're popping up on the Shade Room for free. They're getting verified by Instagram and other channels. And that's my real personal joy. This is like probably the first time I'm stepping from behind the lens to the front.
I love it. Wow, that's awesome. Listen, we have a boss lady in the building. Okay. So listen, she is amazing. I could listen to you talk all day. I really just love, just like you mentioned it at the beginning, you just have a way, and I'm sure the manual displays this too, just a way of making someone comfortable. Like we're just meeting. I'm like, this is my homegirl. This is my friend. This is my friend. We're talking.
Forever. I got you.
We're talking. Okay, we're just having a chat. But I absolutely love it. And so for women who could be thinking about starting a business, or she may be creative, but maybe she feels like, I can't go deeper into this. Maybe she's not as confident. Do you have some advice for her? Some things that she could possibly do or start doing that could help get her out of her shell?
Well, two things actually. One thing, I have Futures Female, which is reach back for female entrepreneurs to basically help and answer those questions for free from CEOs, from other boss women that are in the industry that they can be paired with to ask those questions.
Awesome.
And that's free, free 99. And two, I always say, until your business is making enough money that you can remove some of the bills off of yourself, you should not go in full stream. And I say that because businesses are expensive. They take up a lot of money, they take up a lot of time. And at the end of the day, you don't want to sacrifice just, your own livelihood until it's reached that pinnacle. Because we all have a lot of dreams. We all have a lot of things that we're creative. We also, I find a lot of women that get upset when their family and friends are not immediately, buying everything that they have, or, going in full stream of head. And it does, take patience, and it takes money, and it takes support. So if you don't have those things in place first, I would say wait until you do. Just, develop exactly, like, there are certain trends that everyone tries to get into. Figure out what it is that you do that can't nobody do, and then do it for everybody. Some people, you may need to do it for free. So for example, you may have a friend that has a better engagement than you, and you sell bows. I'm using that just an example. And, hey girl, I know that you get, more likes on your page. Can I buy you some lunch for if you like my bows to, post it on your page? And that may be a segue into integration, so that, you're able to get it. And if they're a friend, they'll accept that lunch. Like, hey girl, of course, give me that lunch, send that over. I'll wear
Right.
I think your bows are fly, but make sure they actually like it first, because trust me, you can tell when somebody don't like something. And you go forward with that. Everything that happens does not hit immediately. It took me, years before being a publicist is something that I can do in my sleep. And that's what people pay for, your experience. So work on it. Don't skip over the struggle. I know we live in a very microwave society where people just think that somebody woke up and became somebody. No, they didn't. You just found them when they became somebody. But there were other people who were riding with them well before.
I love it. That is wisdom.
That's what it is. So that's honestly what it is. And if it's what you really, really love, keep at it. It may cost you some money. It may cost you some tears. It may cost you some, but keep praying. Keep grinding and keep, talking about it. Now, if you said that if they don't really have that, forefront, that's why I offer, like I said, Futures Female, so that you can maybe ascertain a mentor, somebody that can help you get out of your shell, because no one's going to talk as eloquently about your product and your services than you.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Wow. Thank you so much. That's a lot of wisdom. So guys,
I'm sorry.
No, that's good wisdom. Like, this is because so many people, unfortunately, are comparing themselves to other people online. These are people that could have been doing something for 20 years, right? Yeah. And then you come into the game and you're like, oh, I'm not at this level. And we start to compare and feel bad. So guys, listen up. You run your own race. Do not compare yourself. You can learn from people, you can collaborate, but do not compare yourself to a place where you are beating yourself up. And give it time. Give it time. Just like you said, I'm just going to echo what you said. Give it time. Everything is not a microwave turnaround. It takes time for things to build, takes time to build the business, the brand, and so give it time. So thank you. Oh, that was so good. That was so good. And I also wanted to you to share with everybody, how can we grab your manual? How can we get our hands on this great, great, great content?
So my manual is available on TaviaMD.com. It's in the shop area. It's on sale right now, so go ahead and grab a copy. And you can follow me on Tavia MD as well.
Awesome. And so that's Tavia MD everywhere, right?
Yep,
Awesome.
everywhere.
Okay, guys, make sure you go and follow Tavia MD everywhere, and that you also grab her manual. As you can see, she was dropping gems just in this short time that we've had together. So you know that the manual, and it has so much more. She has some reflections, some stories in there. And so grab it so you can continue to learn from her and stay connected. Stay connected. Tavia, thank you so much. Just for spending time with us, pouring into us, helping us remember that we are enough, that we need to love ourselves, put ourselves first, and to go after whatever we are dreaming about and passionate about. We are so excited that you had the chance to sit down with us today. Thank you for hanging out with us.
You are welcome, and thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we are signing off. I am your host, Chrisnatha DeRozier, and I will see you next time. And until then, be well.